Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the second episode of No Homo. I am amongst your hosts today. My name is Phillip, joining me with Brandon and Isaac, and we are happy to come to you again with our second episode. We're really excited. Thanks to all that watched our first episode. I'm
Yes.
really excited. Isaac, do we have a number count of how many views?
Oh, you know what? I know it was almost 100 the last time I checked it, but I don't really know.
Okay, we'll take almost 100. Thank you
Yeah.
for those almost
Right.
100 views. We will take that.
Wait, let me
Um,
see.
so that is
Oh
fine.
no, it's 103.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Milestones. Every little bit
Milestones.
counts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're coming back with episode 2. Really excited. And if you haven't, those out there watching, if you have any feedback, comments, of course, please subscribe. We want to continue to bring you this type of content on a regular basis. But without further ado, I'm going to turn things over to my first co-host, Brandon. How are you doing? What's going on?
Doing good, guys. I'm happy to be here for episode 2. Look at us. Look at this. Look at what we're
Doing it.
doing. Just kikiing, recording it, and
Right.
starting the movement. Why don't we?
It's a movement now.
It's a
Awesome.
it's a movement. Oh no, I'm feeling great. I'm here and I'm just here again to kiki la la with the best of the best and just to have this fellowship moment. Like I feel like this is more than just like us doing the show. It's a little therapeutic. It's a little bit of us loving on each other and also having great conversations. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it all.
Love it. Love it. Love the vibe. Isaac, how are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm a little um charged up with sugar right now, but
You know what I was about to
um,
say? A little judgment goes a long way.
it was right. It was it was between like juice or coffee, so I decided to just do juice.
Okay. Well, at least you didn't do any fruit snacks. That would make you a 2-year-old. So you're
I'm not above it.
Well, I want to get us kicked off, and I think we can just kind of just jump right in. The first topic that we're going to be discussing is um, that they found Tim Norman, former Sweetie Pie star, guilty. He was convicted guilty of arranging for his nephew's murder. This happened earlier on. Actually, this happened on Friday. So on September 16th, this was decided after a jury only deliberated for 17 hours before reaching a verdict in the case. And it seems pretty clear cut that that's something that he did organize. Isaac, I want to bring this to you first and just kind of get your thoughts on this.
Well, I have only been to Sweetie Pies once in my life.
Same.
Yeah, okay. And great food, really nice restaurant. And I wanted to go because, I was a fan of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And now looking back at some of the episodes, like after Andre was killed,
Mm-hmm.
there's a segment where Miss Robbie and her son Tim are like visiting the spot where Dre was killed.
Yes.
And then watching that and seeing Tim like pretend
Mm-hmm.
that he was grieving was just wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another thing I rewatched a couple of episodes from the first season, and it was when his wife was giving birth, when Tim's wife was giving birth to their first child, and
Mm-hmm.
then there was complications, and he was calling Miss Robbie and he was crying because he was so worried about his child. And I thought to myself, wow, I mean, you're crying like that over your child and you literally took someone else's baby away.
Your brothers. You killed your brothers.
Yeah, your nephew.
His bloodline gone. Never gave him a chance. Only for $450,000 was the amount for the life insurance policy that he never collected. So it was
Never.
like,
There was four of them, 4 life insurance policies.
but like people don't think about that there's investigations about life insurance fraud, that people do this. And so there's a process to ensure that people
Exactly.
don't. Yeah. Brandon, what are your thoughts with this?
Gosh, I mean, this is pretty dark and heavy. My thoughts are I really wasn't that familiar with Sweetie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought that Sweetie got the Sweetie Pie kind of show or thing went with the Patty Pie thing. I don't know why. Don't quote me, but I'm completely
Patty,
wrong.
oh my
I'm
God,
completely
no.
wrong. I'm completely wrong. But who brought it back to circle, all full circle for me was Anita, my mom, who did give me a phone call when all of this unraveled. And she's like, "Oh my God, Brandon, did you see what happened with the Sweetie Pie family?" And I'm like, and granted, like my mom's email address is sweetiepie727. Oh, I just put that out there. But anyway, I'm like, that's her email address. And I'm just like, are you talking about yourself? Like, what's going on? And like, she's giving me all the context and things. And I'm just like, oh, that's horrible. And then I see the article that you posted because you want to talk about it. And I'm just like, man, this is like, it's so unfortunate and so like disparaging that you would take your own family, like you said, just for a life insurance policy. And I mean, you guys are, and it's like, you kind of think about the notion of you guys are on TV. Like people kind of want to be where you are, where your family is and different things like that. You guys have businesses, you're doing fine and stuff like that, but you still have things in your heart like this to do to one another or to kind of survive and to
For
stay
money.
afloat for money. It's like, it's very uncomfortable, if anything. So if I have to leave anything with that, I guess I feel uncomfortable with it. It's sad, it's horrible. But yeah, I couldn't imagine, like I said, with all of those things, a television network behind you, money and family businesses, that something like this would still happen. It's weird to think of that.
Yeah. And Miss Robbie is standing by Tim. I don't know in what capacity, but I also saw that they're going to close the restaurant, at least the Golden Crust.
Yeah, tomorrow's the last day.
Yeah, they're gonna. I think they're selling it to whatever their veterans hospital. They're buying that part of the land to develop on it. So it's unfortunate. It's the end of a legacy there in terms of a Black business and something about greed, and what it'll make you do. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of greed, I guess we'll move from greed to unfortunate or maybe stupidity. I don't know. Or just bad decisions, as now they did find they reached a settlement for the case regarding Tiffany Haddish and Ari Spears, the child case that they have currently. And it seems that Tiffany has shared that she doesn't have allegedly, that there aren't a lot of gigs or anything that she's getting anymore, that she's kind of out and potentially being blacklisted because of this incident. There hasn't been any word from Ari Spears, but it seems like they went ahead and just settled out of court. Isaac, I'll start with you as well, since this was an article that you shared. Any thoughts?
Well, last week I did ask you, I said, well, do you think this is going to be like career ending for Tiffany? I mean, Aries or whatever his name is, his career ended a long time ago. Right. But, and it also makes me think, like, they settled out of court. Mm-hmm. Tiffany probably paid, the lion's share of that, don't you think? Like, she's the one that's rich.
Well, he isn't someone that doesn't have any money either.
No, I'm not saying he doesn't have any money, but
because I think his net worth, I looked it up, or was at $4 million.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
All right. Isn't completely, I mean,
okay.
No, we got
yeah. Wouldn't have known.
I mean, I can't tell by looking at him, but okay. Okay. I trust you.
I mean,
if it's on the internet, it must be true.
Listen, he has the money, so people can look at him. That's the ticket. Without that,
Mhm.
like there wouldn't
Yeah.
be any type of,
Maybe
the swagger that he says that he has wouldn't exist. But yeah, what are your continued thoughts about this case and kind of the result?
I just feel bad that, um, this has happened to her because, she's kind of like been the comedy it girl for like the last 5, 6 years. And
Mhm.
she has such a huge, future ahead of her. I don't want to talk about it like it's in past tense, but um, we know what happens, like, to Black people in Hollywood. Like once,
Yeah.
they do something wrong, then it's almost unforgivable. And I really feel like she is, remorseful and she regrets doing it. Um, I just really hope that like she doesn't get canceled.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that. Well, Brandon, let me go to you. What are your thoughts regarding just the whole incident overall?
the whole incident again is pretty daunting. I think that I agree with Isaac in a way that I do wish that she would not get canceled because, like I said, we have like in Black Hollywood or in Hollywood in general being Black, there's not a lot of chances when you do things that you probably have not thought second about. And things like I kind of think about Leah Michelle, right? Because I'm a huge Gleek, right? She's had multiple, offenses of racism, bad behavior, temper, like all this other stuff. And she's raving on Funny Girl. I mean, which we knew she was kind of born to play that role, just saying. But at the
Period.
same time, right, we cannot take that away from her. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like if you couldn't take away from Tiffany, she's funny. Like the girl can make you laugh. But and I felt her a little bit in her video. She's like, I lost everything. And I was just like, heartstring. But at the same time, it's like, these are the things you gotta think about when you enter these, contracts or these videos and stuff like that, because that shit can just come back and have a life of its own. Like it's so weird. Cause I swear to you,
It's
never seen
forever.
that clip a day in my life. Never seen a clip of that like at all until the recent, posting. And it's like career, like it feels career ending, but I do believe that she learned from this possibly. That's my thing. So allow people to have that moment to grow and different things like that. And I just don't know what that looks like for her as far as like sustainability and things like that. But I do wish her the best. So I don't know, it's sticky.
I do want to offer some remorse for, um, or at least some compassion for the two um, victims of the case that were involved in
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
video, because I think about and I think sometimes we don't have a lot of like actual like putting ourselves in other people's shoes, and when you feel like ridiculed or embarrassed or used for some type of entertainment that isn't flattering, um, I think about how that can affect you for a long period of time. And the
Yeah.
videos themselves were not in any way they were all of poor taste, just really bad. Of course, there wasn't any like, like physical so and so and so and so kind of going on, but it was still what was portrayed wasn't. I don't think any person would have wanted to be involved in that or look back and be like, oh, I was a kid and I was in that video. And it really kind of shows karma a little bit because um, people say that this video would never have surfaced if Ari Spears had not gone viral for talking all that stuff about Lizzo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I totally believe that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just I think that there's some like ways in the crossroads for Tiffany in that aspect. But at the same time, it's like you signed up, like you signed the line, sis. You had to know what was going on in this video. Like you just had to. So
Yeah.
And no one was checking for him. So
no.
you know, you bring it on yourself sometimes,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
You want the
Yeah.
spotlight? You got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
For old and new.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, very interesting. Well, we wish everybody the best, and certainly in that scenario. I'm gonna actually push for Isaac to like lead us into this article or to this next
Which one?
topic because I cannot ever talk about the Kardashians. I refuse.
There's one about the Kardashians in here. Did I skip that one?
and
I swear.
and another person I'm not a
And
fan
you
of
know
is
what?
Ray
You know
J.
what? For the love of Ray J.
Got it. I was like, I didn't see a K anywhere.
Okay, yeah. Well,
It's in there.
I mean,
yeah.
So Ray J's been like on social media, like saying out like all these crazy things about Kris Jenner, saying that she directed their sex tape, like she didn't like it the first time, they had to redo it, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
And Kris Jenner is like, oh my gosh, she's like freaking out. She's like sending texts to Kim and telling Kim to tell Ray J and Kanye to shut up because she's 67 and it's stressing her out. And so and then like they're putting the text messages on Twitter and Instagram and all this stuff. So Ray J's been doing like some talk shows. He went on was it Hell of a Week, Charlemagne the God, and he says he's gonna take it to the next level. I think might be a legal thing. I'm not sure, but I mean, who's surprised that Kris Jenner is a porn director?
But okay, I mean, and all this alleged, right? But I think,
allegedly, yes.
But I think, like, okay, we know that fundamentally the Kardashian family does whatever it needs to do to stay relevant,
Right.
and certainly this video, because I think to a degree, right, you have to also think about strategy. They knew that this tape was going to come out, whether they just filmed it just to be goofy kids or someone got access to it. And I read that Kris was just trying to get ahead of it and just package it the best way that was possible to benefit from it, which they've done. I think that Ray J is mad because he hasn't benefited. He's benefited, but he hasn't benefited the way that they have from that sex tape has.
Yeah.
And from it, they've been able to leverage and leverage and leverage and leverage and leverage. So, you can't hate the game, but he was also involved, and he's still making money from
that tape. Yeah.
Okay, Brandon, what do you help us?
I get both. I get both sides. I do believe, like you said, it may be a hint of that jealous kind of rage with him, like, understanding that he did not benefit the way that the Kardashians have. But do I believe that Kris was back there like a little deeper, Ray? Yes, I do. Only because it's Kris. Like she always has micromanaged the shit out of their careers, has always had the biggest hand. Like it doesn't matter what it was. Like it just she always has. She always has. So I believe personally, I would say that she was there. Me personally, I was not there to say that, but I believe wholeheartedly that she could.
Allegedly.
But what is he accusing them of? If he was there and she was in the room, the room where it happened.
Three consenting adults, like
what is the case
he
about,
doesn't really have a case. Like I don't know.
Right. So like, what
maybe he's gonna sue her for bigger royalties or something. You know what? Ray J just wants to be a billionaire.
I mean,
I can see it.
Okay,
I can see it. I can see it. But like I said, I think I see it both ways. I see it both ways.
I just feel like it's too little, too late. Like I mean, it's over now. I mean, it's out.
It's already out there. Like it's completely out there. I think. Let me know. I think you had mentioned this is like the second highest viewed celebrity sex tape out there. I think currently.
Oh, well, I didn't.
No,
I didn't tell you that.
Oh, I didn't tell you that, but
you didn't.
No.
Okay. I digress.
But probably. I mean, I wouldn't doubt
it's
it.
Probably
right?
True.
Okay.
I would say either that or Tommy and Pamela or
Pamela. I think they're number one.
R. Kelly.
Okay. Oh. Well, without
I haven't seen any of them, so I'm just
I didn't know you
naming
have
stuff.
one.
Who?
R. Kelly.
Oh, you.
Yeah.
It was with an underage girl. Remember?
With the minor.
That's when you said his name. That's like, oh my god, like Anyway, so yeah, number two, we're gonna number two on 106 in Park.
You are so silly. 106 in Park.
Like,
oh my God.
You
no,
throw it
yeah,
back.
but
Yeah.
it's okay. Yeah, so hopefully Ray J gets I don't know. I hope he finds a actual case. Like I don't know how to
I think this
Actually,
is,
I couldn't care less. I couldn't
Yeah.
care less. But
I don't know. Like
well,
good luck to you.
Yes, we wish him the best, even though he doesn't need anything. One person that might looks like former President Donald Trump, as well as his businesses. Isaac, you're our political correspondent.
Oh God.
This is the Isaac episode.
So okay, so I don't like saying his name. My personal name for him is Orangina. So Orangina was sued by Letitia James. She's the AG of New York, and she had a press conference and she detailed a 300-page suit against him and his three oldest children.
Right.
So Don Jr., Eric, and Ivanka.
Right.
They're being sued for $250 million because they lied about how much their properties were worth, basically. You know, they undervalued, then they would overvalue them, and for tax reasons. Then the suit wants $250 million. Then they also want them to not be able to deal in real estate or any kind of business in New York for the next 5 years. Yeah. So I don't know, things are looking really, really, really bad for him. But according to him, he's still running. So hopefully he's not a felon by then.
I mean, what would that even matter?
What that even matter? Like, you're right. Yeah. But yeah, things are looking like, and then he's saying like little things at his rallies, like calling her Letitia Peekaboo James. Like, I don't even know what that means. I've been searching the internet to see what that means, but I don't know. I don't know if it's a racist dog whistle.
Peekaboo.
Like, I don't know.
It sounds really close.
Ooh,
right. Peekaboo,
ooh,
jigaboo.
ooh.
What is it? Not pickaninny.
That's
What
good.
do you call it? It's pretty close to a couple of different things. That's
Letitia Peekaboo. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
That's probably the dog whistle. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a bullhorn.
So
Yeah.
I don't.
What an honorable man.
Yeah. But do you all think that this is going to, like, this, we're in this structural thing, like this government, all these laws and systems that have never benefited people who are poor, people who are of minority race or whatever. And do you see this like because our system has actually created Donald Trumps and people to be around like this and to wield power and to escape of whatever with no consequence of whatever they do we really feel like this is going to be a point where the government or at least our systems will actually hold someone of that level to accountability?
I think between this case from New York, the case with the documents from Mar-a-Lago that were seized, which they have to like plead their case like by next week or something. Trump and his lawyers, and then the rape, the alleged rape victim. I forget her name, but it's the trial starts in February, and the woman still has his DNA on the dress, so it's like a Lewinsky type deal. Like, she saved it, like she saved the skirt, she saved the dress, whatever. So I think between those three, something's going to happen.
And the January 6th committee.
Oh, and the I'm sorry, I can't keep up.
You run out of things.
So much going on.
Well, he's the most investigated and least prosecuted politician in history. Like the most investigated. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. There's never been any like they'll say, "Oh, Trump did these things," and they're like, "Okay, well, there's no consequence to it. He violated these laws," and nothing ever happens. So
right.
I don't know. It just kind of feels like like the actual like system turning on itself because but we'll see. But it's so funny because you think about how for years they're like, oh, we're fair. We're going to promote people and provide more opportunities for folks. So now that there's more diverse people in these higher level positions that can actually enforce the law the way I guess it should be enforced, it just seems like things are different. Brandon, what do you think about this situation in terms of all these court cases popping up?
Well, I do believe I agree with Isaac that something will come out of one of these things, out of one of these trials.
It's wishful thinking, probably, but
I mean, I think that would this be the opportunity to, I think, just set a precedent standard that everyone. Well, no, because it still would not be exactly that everybody will be equal in that aspect. But I do believe that, like I said, out of one of these, something has to stick because we all know that most of the stuff is all factual. Like, I mean, they have been getting away with this shit for years. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I said, he's the least president that has been under investigation through all that other stuff and everything. So it's like I think that something will stick, one or the other. But I would hope that everything that is proven to be concrete, that is proven to be proven that he will be held accountable for all of those things, not just one or the other, or slip out of one and then get convicted for the other. But we all know that Orangina has I love that, by the way. Tang, one or the other.
Tang, wow.
Tang, yeah. Has always, he's always been under the radar doing things that illegal shit. So it's like, I say stick him from everything, from beginning to end. But
he gets away with everything. That's why they call him Teflon Don.
I didn't know that.
And the fact that that's able to happen just shows again that stuff doesn't work. But anyway, I'll be quiet.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about him anymore. So
yes. But we touched on it, which was needed. So we're getting the information out there. On a lighter note, Brandon, you shared some stories that I think would be nice to kind of just help sweeten the atmosphere after the courageous story. So I know that Strictly star Richie Anderson is going to be dancing with a same-sex partner.
Yes.
So I wanted to see what your thoughts were regarding the announcement. And this is going to be him coming on to, this is for him in the BBC. So this is in London.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this is a new for this year's season of Strictly Come Dancing. So I guess it's a kind of an alternative or something similar to Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, it's the British parallel of it. So it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I actually watched, I don't think it's the season before, not the actual season after this, but there was one couple that was a same-sex dancing couple that did dancing on Strictly Come Dancing. And this is just another one. So like they're kind of setting like, history in a way that I think Dancing with the Stars has not yet, of course. But I thought it was just worth talking about.
No, actually Dancing with the Stars has done that.
With who?
Last season, JoJo Siwa. JoJo.
Oh, JoJo. Okay, gotcha. I think I'm thinking male to male. That's my thing. But I totally get that. I totally get. Yeah, with JoJo Siwa. That's cool. And, so I think that. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. And they have Shangela on this season.
They sure do. Yeah, she's tearing it up, and she should.
I haven't seen it though. I'll have to look at it.
I caught some clips on Twitter. It's like Twitter's like TV. You don't have to watch anything nowadays. You don't even need the streamers anymore. I know they're strictly on Disney Plus. So and I know that he is with Richie Anderson, I believe is his name. Yeah, and Richie Anderson, who is a radio personality in Britain, is like he's queer. He identifies as queer, and he dated a football player. And they did ask him. They asked him what did he want to have as far as a partner, and he, said he wanted a male. He said he felt so honored and so sweet, and he said that, even like, I guess, other like realms or different like events that he's attended and things like that, no one's ever asked him his opinion on anything like that when it comes to that. So I was like, that's pretty cool, that's pretty dope. And I thought that was like a nice like win for us as far as, and media and representation and things like that. So I love to see it. I love to see it. So I want to share that with us.
That's a nice little nugget. Maybe people can just realize that dancing doesn't have to, it's just a dance. It doesn't matter who your partner is.
It doesn't have gender,
It's movement. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's, it doesn't mean anything provocative or sexual. It's just, coordinated movements to music, essentially,
Samba.
Exactly. And just to announce, Richie Anderson's partner is Giovanni Pernice, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, who's his partner for the show Strictly Come Dancing as well. And for Shangela, who also made history as the first drag queen performer on Dancing with the Stars. And for the Shangela character, I'll say, and for her partner, because they say out of drag and out of rehearsal, Shangela performs as her voice self, as DJ Pierce. But her partner is Gleb Savchenko, if I'm not messing that up. Gleb Savchenko. And I saw they did the salsa as their first initial dance and looked really, really tight and good. So I can only imagine how difficult it may be to not only learn how to dance, but also to do that in the aesthetic of a woman, heel, like, and to even personify that. I think that's just like another layer of like talent to be able to do that. So
absolutely.
I have a quick question. We can make it super quick. But like, how do y'all think? So I do feel like, we'll be able to see it one day. But like with a male and male dancer on Dancing with the Stars, whomever it may be, how do you think America will take that? Like,
I think it'll be fine, and I think they're probably going to do it next season.
Okay.
Because they're they did
itching.
Girl on Girl, and now they have.
I think it'll be a nice. I think it's like
and it'll be the men.
I think it'll be a good build up, but I don't think it'll go as well. I think it'll go smoothly. I think everything will be fine. But will there be talk? Yes. I feel like there'll always be talk.
There's always going to be homophobia. I mean, come on.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah,
love to see it.
Yeah, like Isaac said, they're inching little by little. So,
but I definitely think it'll be next season.
Well, they realize that they're making all these like aesthetic changes depending on how partners are paired, and they see that it doesn't really matter. In fact, people want to tune in because whether they hate it or not, they're interested in just seeing how it's going to look.
They're curious.
Yeah. Well, Brandon, also, it sounds like there's been some rumblings of potentially with Beyonce having a tour. Oh, he's already ready.
Speaking of dancing.
Right. You can't dance without good music. So any thoughts around that? What have you discovered regarding this potential tour coming up next year?
So I've discovered that really it's just an announcement, like a whisper announcement, not like a real, like a big thing. She has not announced it officially, but someone got word who got word, but the word got out to actual publication. So I was like, okay, maybe it's actually something that's real.
Yeah, she obviously is leaking it herself,
So. Right. Like, how she works, you know what I'm saying? Like, she speaks without speaking. So it's like one of those things. When I saw Variety, I was like, Variety, okay.
True.
Like this is
Variety,
this is Variety. All right.
I believe Variety.
This is nothing else. Okay, like this is not, this may not be a drill. But I'm super excited because I think that and they say within the next year, we do know that we have Act 2 and Act 3 coming. We don't know what that looks like. We don't know when, we don't know how. But I believe that, summing it up with the tour at the end of next year or during next year would be a perfect move. So I think it makes sense. And, I think that she's always been the person to kind of tease her tours and different things like that, to say like, a tour is coming. Like, she, even though she could just drop a tour and people would just show up, but B has always been like, hey, a tour is coming, y'all, get ready. and the girls get ready.
Oh,
So I think that
it's a production. So I mean,
it's
Yeah.
seamless. It's
Yeah.
seamless.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why I'm like, I think I'm super excited. And personally, I'm not a concert person, only because I'm like, I think I have like some sensory issues, but I don't like loud music. Like, I don't like people like on top of me. Like, I want to hear B. I don't want to hear you, like right next to me. So, but this one, because I do love Renaissance, and I literally just stopped listening to it because another artist of mine brought up a project, and also Mariah Carey just dropped her 25th anniversary of Butterfly, and that's one of my favorite albums. So I've been listening to that. But I just stopped listening to it. Like, that's as of this week. So like, I'm going
So you've
to
been going hard for like 5-6 weeks.
it's like I've been in trance. Like, I'm gonna put that, like, I'm put this album in my like Halloween album, because I feel like it's like she's like Dracula. She just put us in a trance of I've been listening since July. So it's not no spooky music.
She's glamming us.
Yeah, like it's like, it's like no spooky music at all. But just the fact that I haven't been able to turn it off, and other people as well said they've been able to turn it
Yeah,
off.
people
I'm
are
gonna
like
put it in the
addicted to
Halloween
it.
collection. I'm gonna put it in the Halloween collection as if like, there's some type of special brew coming from this music or something. So yeah, but I'm super excited. Right. So I'm super excited. And I think that everybody else is gearing up and getting excited too. So it's coming, Renaissance tour.
I know people are about to be spending their mortgages on.
People about to be broke.
Well, listen, that's why you got the notice now, so you can save your coin.
Exactly.
You can save it through Christmas and the holidays. Don't get that gift for your spouse or your kid.
No.
And then you'll have tax refund season, so you can also put that towards your wonderful ticket. Hopefully you get something close. I hope that you do.
Mom doesn't need that new dishwasher,
Let her use her hands.
You are so silly.
She's got a couple years left.
Yeah. I've just got something.
I love it. Well, and you know what? The concert's going to be great because, just to add this additional story, President Biden yesterday said that COVID, in terms of the actual, not yesterday, I'm sorry, for September 19th. The article was published on yesterday, New York Times, saying that our president shared that the pandemic is officially over, and despite 400 people dying daily, we're out of it. We're done. America, we did it.
We did it, Joe.
Don't worry.
Oh, that was good.
You opened it up, Joe. You opened it up for that.
Joe, we said that.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
No more pandemic.
Sorry, Vice President. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't agree. Like, I don't agree that it's over. I don't have a medical degree or anything, but yeah, people are still getting COVID. People are still dying. They have a new booster, the Omicron booster, which I have to get next week. So yeah, I mean, I think that was irresponsible of him to say. It was very irresponsible, because now it gives people another reason, like, not to get vaccinated.
Right. Or to even comply with just certain protocols that we've gone into. I mean, I think some of them actually have been good, like the distance, the space. If you're not feeling well, if you having to go to work or having to go to school, like, people are giving you grace to recover and not spread that to other people. And people should mask. I mean, especially if you're sick, if you got bad breath, if you spit when you talk,
Right.
Like, there are other reasons that you should mask if you want to.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like we always are so kind of just, we did it, okay, we cut this corner, we're there, and anyone else that suffers is kind of an outlier. But I mean, are you feeling, Brandon, that things are back to normal? What's going on in your psyche about this?
So, I work in a clinic, and I can tell you, because I share an office with other community health workers, that it is completely not over. Just hearing the conversations that they have. Honey, no, you cannot leave home. No, I understand, but no. Like, they're like pleading with these people, you know, at this point to just, like you said, to be just compliant with the social distancing and not being able to go out. And we know that, you know, you have to take care of, life is still going on around you. You have to take care of things and different things like that. But with just that being said, how could COVID be over? You know, like it's just, it was irresponsible. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Especially like as you mentioned the Omicron vaccinations, we're getting those into our clinic too. So they literally shut down the vaccinations that we did have to bring those in. And I always said like when they bring money into stuff, I know that, you know, they're trying to get this stuff out of here or trying to like, you know, eradicate COVID and stuff like that. So they're giving out, you know, monetized gift cards for people to come get these vaccinations.
Wow.
And, and when do clinics or medical places do stuff like that? When the shit is rough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, they're like, listen, we're gonna pay your bills. Take this damn vaccine and sit down. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it and for stuff like that to go on, and for our president just to say that, like I don't know what he was, I don't know where he was, I don't know what space he's in or time he's living in, but yeah, it's not happening. That's not our reality at all.
And he caught COVID how many times? Twice?
Twice, at least.
Like in recent.
Back.
Like in recent.
That was like this year too, I think. Yeah.
Right. His wife did too. Like
his wife did too, yeah.
Yeah. So did Kamala, right? Did Kamala get it? Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I know Jill got it as well.
Okay.
So, you know what? It's someone had said, if possible, let this be the last white male Christian president. If possible. We've been doing this for generations. So if we can just change the formula, you know, and I mean like really change it. Like Obama was great in terms of being,
it was a bridge.
He was a bridge, yeah. But I mean, like, can we just like even walk away from that? Like, really just
someone young, someone under 80 would be nice.
Yeah, that's connected to the newer generations that are
who has their hands on the ground. I said, who has their hand on the ground? I've always been like, just thinking like, what would the world be if somebody became president who literally was a hand in community or like knew, you know, at a surface level, like what people, like what we see every day. You know, everyone I believe so far has had their head in the clouds. But go ahead.
If Congress actually looks like America, then we would have representation, but it doesn't. It's old, white, rich people who are just so out of touch that, you know, nothing's going to change until you change the makeup of government.
I mean, they come into office too and are able to make money being in office.
Yeah. Which is not, it's the exact opposite of what's supposed to happen.
Right.
Well, speaking of our last topic, and this is actually following up on the death of Elijah McClain, who was a Black man who died after a police encounter in the suburb of Denver in 2019. When he was approached, he was put into a chokehold by the officer and then injected with a sedative. And according to the autopsy report that was released on yesterday, the 23rd, it showed that the sedative was what killed him, not the chokehold. But again, him being administered that sedative incorrectly ended his life. Isaac, I know this is your story. I didn't want to end this on such a serious note, but I think that it is often important to kind of talk about policy and leadership and how all those things kind of affect us. Just wanted to kind of see why you chose this story and overall kind of how it affected you.
Well, I just feel like his story was one of the stories that, you know, also added to the BLM movement. Um, and you know, he was a young man. He was I believe he was autistic. Um, and you know, he just didn't deserve to die like that, you know. And you know, these officers were caught, like, you know, making fun of him, like, you know, like pretending to like choke each other, like, you know, doing crazy stuff like that, sending like crazy text messages. You know, I think some of it was racial. But you know, we forget about the victims of police brutality like way too quickly, you know. And I feel like it should have taken, like, what is it? What's it, like 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
3 years for an autopsy?
And
Because
imagine being his
I guess they
family.
wanted the story to die, you know. But if they would have said, like, oh my God, you know, he didn't he didn't die of asphyxiation. He died from them giving him a drug
that he didn't even
that he
have
didn't need.
any ability to say yes or no to.
Right.
Someone sees that you're suspicious, detains you, restrains you, injects a drug into your body that you didn't even ask for. No one checked for his vitals, his
Right.
allergies, anything. And I remember him being a small person.
Yeah, it's very thin. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's heartbreaking.
And he was pleading with them. He was like, I'm not a bad person. I'm just different. He was pleading with them. It's like, I'm just different. And I don't know. I just hope that people are actually, you know, held accountable for it, because it's sad and we have to see it just too often, you know. And I know all three of us have experienced something, you know, from, you know, whether it's just like, you know, police officer being shitty to you, or, you know, or whatever, but, you know, being being in black skin and a man in America is, you know, you always have a bullseye on you.
You know, I realize that wherever I go, even with me presenting myself in a way that feels neutral, that someone could always identify me as some type of threat. And it's just like starting a fire, just like a spark, just from someone else's uncomfort that you have no control over for whatever reason. And then all of your control is taken away from you, even the right for you to be able to live, just because someone deemed you, you know, different, as he was saying to them, or, you know, just simply that I want to express my fears onto you because you've been labeled and perceived in my mind as some type of threat, and I'm not going to give you the same level of credit, courtesy, due process, any type of level of judgment, not even giving you the credit to allow for you to have any freedom over your own body and your own well-being. So it's very heartbreaking. Brandon, I didn't mean to go
fine.
on. I definitely want to give you some space as well.
No, I honestly, I'm kind of digesting here a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. For some reason I never thought about, like, one, what prompted them to use an injectable for any reason, and two, where the fuck did they get it from? Like,
the EMTs, I'm sorry, the EMTs, yeah, they were the ambulance people. What do they call them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But still, like you said, like, just I don't see why any of that was prompted, you know what I'm saying, or needed to be in that situation, especially when you have somebody in a chokehold, which that's unnecessary as fuck as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have this person detained, restrained, and you're treating them as if they are this massive threat. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's just, it's so weird to say that it's like a mistaken identity type of thing, you know? Like, it's like, is that what we got to go through as like being Black? You know what I'm saying? Like, when I say like mistaken identity, like, that's not how we really behave, especially how we interact with the police in general, because of how we know how they handle themselves when they're around us. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how do they still take that form of action with us, knowing that we do have this form of like, you know, of strategy, or I mean, I don't like saying fear because I'm not scared of nobody, but this reservation toward like, you know, really interacting with them to a point to where we just trying to walk away alive.
Mhm.
That's it. You know, like we trying to walk away alive, and now y'all putting more shit into, you know what I'm saying, into the component, and we still dying. Like that's just like it's a lot to process, I think, for the most part.
Has anyone seen the is it the was it is it Terrell Owens who or is it Ocho Cinco?
What about?
Okay, there's a video of his white neighbor calling the police on him.
It was Terrell Owens.
Terrell Owens? Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So he was trying to go to his mailbox, and then she said, "Oh, you need to slow down," because she was walking with her husband actually. And she's like, he was speeding, you almost hit me, and all this, whatever. So like, you know, she calls the police, and he's recording everything, right? And so then the police get there, and she starts crying, and she was like, "You almost hit me," and he was like, "No, I didn't." And then he was like, "Why are you crying?" And she says, "Because you're a big Black man, and I'm just a little white woman."
Oh,
Bless her heart.
well, and bless his too, because you have often this, I'll just say it, for some of our cis head Black men who are successful,
Mhm,
that when it comes to their social, their economic kind of makeup, it
mhm.
often is aligned to the proximity of whiteness,
Yes. Mhm.
you know, and a lot of times for them, it backfires, even
Yes.
though for them it's decline, and
Mhm.
I'm only gonna date out, and that's all fine. I mean, all that is fine, but a
Yeah.
lot of it is to center yourself or align yourself to that certain identity.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, despite fame, despite success, despite being accepted into American culture as an athlete, because that's one of the ways where people of color have been able to find success,
Right.
where it's deemable, but then
Mm.
it
Mm.
still doesn't protect you. Even him, someone who's probably has a fan base and has, all these
It
accolades,
does.
still at any moment, you can be the target of someone's misdirected insecurities that they're putting on you, because you have to be, based on their programming, this threat that I have to now project my energy onto and create a scene about. So it's really, I don't know. It's just the dynamic to me is interesting. That's all.
Well, you know, nothing makes people fear for their lives like Black and brown skin.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So like, you
In
know,
any
all those,
capacity.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, all those like stand your ground laws, you know, in Florida and
Mhm.
southern states, you know, that's just so they can have, you know, a
Autonomy.
legal reason
Yeah.
to
Big
to
deal.
kill Black people,
Right. Right. So,
basically.
in fact, one of my, and I know we're so officially we've covered all of our main,
Hmm.
but just to kind of have like some post bloopers, some posts additional content here. I remember I have a really good friend in London who's Black.
Mhm.
And he had asked me one time, this is after one of the mass shootings that happened over the summer. And he said, how come you as America won't just ban assault rifles? Like, why won't they ban guns? And because in their country, there was a mass shooting that happened some decades ago, and the country banned guns.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, if you have one, it's through a very intricate process to you even
Mhm.
get a gun. And so they banned them. And so they didn't want to have any more mass shootings or give people the opportunity to do those things. And I
Right.
said to him, they're not going to do it because they still want to give people a window to be able to, even if they're doing it to other groups, they want to be able to do that to us. And as
Right.
soon as I said that, a week later, the mass shooting that happened in Buffalo happened. And he said to me, you were absolutely right. I said, yeah, they're never gonna do the sensible thing to just end it and stop it, which would
No.
make sense. Or even to put restrictions to reduce it down. Fine, if you do the check laws and the background checks and all that kind of stuff, you'll have potentially less, even though all the guns are already out here on the street.
Right.
So
We have
so
more guns than people in America, by the way.
yeah, and exists. And how that happened? Like, what type of import system is going on?
But y'all
Right.
can't make baby formula.
But you know, I would tell your friend also that they make a lot of money. They politicians make a lot of money off of fear. And the gun lobby is like, you know, at the top of that pyramid. You know what I mean? They paid off all the politicians so that no restrictions will ever be imposed until somebody gets in there and, like, you know, bends their arm, you know. Like, they literally need people to keep killing each other so that they can make money.
So that the world can be this scary place.
Yes. And that's how you campaign on that.
And you make it something that is impeding on your own self-freedoms, on your own rights as an individual.
Yes.
So I need to, don't impede on my Second Amendment, rights or whatever. But most general people do not own guns. And
right.
So, so if most people aren't going to get, again, it's a whole like rabbit hole how we endear folks to feel a certain way. Like, I've always wondered, even when it comes to like people who are of different sexualities or whatever, like hence us making the show, like, why are people so programmed or taught to react to something because someone is different from you? And why is that appropriate? And why does it make sense? And why does no one question like, oh, well, why do I feel like I'm okay to treat another person poorly? Or why is someone that's different from me a threat to me that I feel endeared to want to bring them harm? It's just things like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, off my soapbox, boom, getting off. But but no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this as always.
So did I.
Any final thoughts, you all, before we wrap?
No.
You got it all out, Isaac.
I don't have one thought left.
Any fun things for the weekend? Or Brandon, any final thoughts for you? Any weekend stuff? Just something you want to share?
No weekend things. I'm having a pretty chill work weekend actually, so it should be okay. But no, not anything to really share. Beyonce's coming.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Beyonce and Jesus.
Oh.
They're both coming back.
Oh shit.
You may want to hold your breath for one, but
I have faith that they both coming back though. Hey.
Just give me a date. I'm a grid.
Okay.
Well,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
and no weekend plans here. Yeah, I'm actually going to a sangria party later on tonight.
Mm.
Oh, and then well, I do have weekend plans. I'm going to I'm gonna run the half marathon tomorrow.
Yay.
Yes.
My friend Danielle, and then also taking my mother and grandfather to the Bronzeville Winery tomorrow afternoon, 4:30.
Nice.
Oh,
Right down the street from you.
right down the street from me. Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Please give me your honest review, because I've been looking at stuff on Yelp and it's kind of like people think it's overpriced, but
this is my second time going.
okay.
I would say it's a great experience. It's a very to have an upscale dining experience on the south side of Chicago. I think it's really nice, and that's a Black-owned restaurant. I thought the service that I received, because I went once, was excellent.
Okay.
So, and it really is about you feeling this upscale experience. Now, am I going to go there starving? No, because because it is a little pricey. So I may have a granola bar on the way just to kind of poke the stomach, but but overall it's nice. I mean, you're not gonna get like huge portions and things like that. But
Yeah, it's fine dining. So yeah,
very fine dining, very
very small
exquisite.
plate, kind of.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But they're known for their wine and all that stuff. So we'll
Right.
get probably a flight of wine. But yeah, looking forward to doing that. So
Oh, well, cool. That sounds fun.
It sounds so fun.
well, thank you all. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Isaac. We are now wrapping our second episode. Thanks to all that were watched. Hope that you enjoyed it. We always extend the invitation to subscribe. We're early. We're new. Like, getting on the ground floor.
Like, subscribe, like.
Fresh.
Imagine
Comment.
IBM stock in the 1970s. Like, this is your time to like get in. At 2001, like you can get in
Right.
at an early thing. Right
Yeah.
now, subscribe, interact with us. Please share the video. Please like, add a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are. We'll be back with another episode in the next 2 weeks. But until then, if you have any recommendations for topics, let us know.
Absolutely.
Yes. And again, thank you for watching the No Homo Show. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.